Hi guys. So today I basically wanted to cover something different. I tossed between writing this and doing a quick video, and I actually thought that it would actually be better to simply do a video, mainly because one, we're pressed for time. Yes, and also I don't know, maybe you might get a little bit bored with the reading halfway through. So basically, I wanted to cover an issue that I've been, it's not an issue, it's just something I've just discovered about myself, and it has to do with parenting, which is something we haven't covered in a long time. I've got, of course, two children, a 5-year-old and Mr. Almost 1 here. And I think the first few years of Zolma's life was fantastic. We had a no-no policy, which meant that rather than saying no, we basically asked him to do something the right way. So, for example, if he was touching a plug, I would, rather than say, no, don't touch that, I would say, yes, that's a plug, but could we play with something over here or something? So not really using a lot of no, just kind of basically trying to encourage him to feed his curiosity without feeling as though he's not allowed to do anything. And then the years went on, and he got a little bit more, he became more ruffian, and that is fine. But then I found myself, after a while, I thought, well, maybe it has to do with food. So we've always been good with food, but making sure that we don't give him anything with sugar. And we definitely see a spike with sugar sometimes. But it only makes some of the things that he was doing a little bit more heightened. It's not like he didn't do something and then sugar came into his life and then he did things that he never did. It only just heightened it a little bit more. And the same was with television. He didn't watch any TV, but he would watch a few hours on the weekend, and certain emotions would become more heightened, and so on. So we took those things out and really saw a little bit more calm, but there were still things happening, and it was so funny because until I think last week or 2 weeks ago, when I made a decision to just kind of take a deep breath, Zoe, I had a bit of reflection and realised that the problem was me and not really him. In saying that, he still has boundaries and stuff, but what I found was that I left some of my key components of attachment parenting. I kind of not left them out, but let them slide a little bit, and then I had to look back and bring it back. So these are the things that I've been experiencing that I thought, come on, Zoe, you get a grip. So something is having a little one. Of course, putting him to sleep means that sometimes he needs to be quiet or noisy or blah 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 blah. And I found myself saying to Zolma, darling, can you keep your voice down a little bit, or can you not do, can you please be quiet a little bit, and things like that. And later on I realised that it's not as easy to whisper for 2.5 hours, especially when you're 5. And so I needed to let it go. It's not, like, Bronchi's fine, and to be honest, both of them are in our bed sometimes, and he wakes up, and the first thing he does is turn over to poke his brother. Now, I don't usually say to I will say to Bronchi, darling, can you not do that? But it's not a big deal, and I think it doesn't, if they've had enough sleep, does it really, really, is it really a life and death situation? And my approach now is, if it's not a life and death situation, do I really need to ask him to stop doing something? If it doesn't interfere with his compassion for others, do I really, really need to do I really need to stop him? And something as simple, as saying, can you please not jump on the bed? And saying that as I'm reflecting back to how amazing I found it when I was his age, and jumping on the bed was the most amazing thing. Or saying to him, darling, can you please not jump off the couch? As long as you're not going to break anything, hopefully, let's do it in a nice way. Or sometimes giving him areas. If you really need to scream, can you maybe scream in your bedroom and then come out and do it? So really sort of relaxing a little bit more, remembering that he's only 5. He really is only 5. And if his lifespan is, one moment, if his lifespan is, say, 80 years, I'm asking him to master a lot of things, and I would say what is 3 years of his life, because the first 2 years of his life he spent trying to figure out how to walk, talk, run, do a lot of other things. So really between the ages of 3 and 5, and between the ages of 3 and 5, which is basically the last 2 years of his life, I'm asking him to master a lot of things that we adults are still trying to work out. Are still trying to work out. So we're looking at a new approach of saying, well, you know what, he's a child. And even though there are things that he needs to learn, as far as compassion and being polite and things, he needs to be allowed to let loose. He needs to be allowed to let go. And, I will tell you a classic experience, which is a few days ago in the kitchen. He was talking to me in the kitchen, and halfway through, he bolted out of the room, started screaming and yelling with excitement, and just mumbling gibberish. And normally I would say to him, darling, can you keep your voice down, or can you just try and be a little bit more calm? But what I chose to do this time was just ask him why. So when he came back in, I said to him, darling, why did you do that? And he's like, oh, I just thought about Maddie's birthday party, and I just got really excited. Now, the party is 3 weeks away, but somewhere in between hanging out with me in the kitchen, a thought occurred to him that there was a party occurring that he would be going to in 3 weeks, and he got so excited he just couldn't contain it. So I realized that sometimes that his little burst of energy sometimes has nothing to do with eating or anything else. It's just that there's so much happening in his head that he just got really excited, and he just needed to let it out. So, new approach, reassess your gentle parenting, and maybe step back a little bit from the no-nos and just give them a little bit of room. And just, with boundaries, but give him a little bit of room. It's okay, I think, now in our house to be a little bit louder and shout and roll and jump. If everyone's awake and it's not disturbing the neighbours, and I'm okay, and we will have quiet time at some point, but if he needs to do that, then let him or her do it. So my approach for parenting this week is let go of the no-nos, even if it's in a calm, gentle, natural parenting way, and just let the cards fall where they may. If he's climbing on a roof, perhaps then you step in. If he's playing with anything, or she's playing with anything that's sharp. But if he's, if they're just kind of rolling about, climbing on things, dancing in the middle of the shopping centre, then if it's not hurting anybody, oh well. And to be honest, I found that just letting it go and just let him get out that little bit, it's amazing how much calmer things get once all of that is let out. Because sometimes all the running in the world doesn't help you let out your voice, and all the running in the world doesn't allow you to just let out your dance or your things or your just that impulse that's in there that just needs to get out. And I think the sooner I can just get all of it out, perhaps the calmer he'll be by the time he's 7 or 8. So, yeah, that's my parenting tip for the week. Have fun with it.